Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? I hope that your night is treating you well. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins from the Black Business School, and I am sitting here up at night, and I was going through some information and some questions that I received from students. We have an online financial coaching program for anybody that has questions for me about anything related to money. As you know, I was a finance professor for 23 years. I still am. I teach in the Black Business School, in the Black Wealth Boot Camp. We have 30,000 students in the Black Business School. The Black Wealth Boot Camp has about 6,000 alumni now, which are strong Black people who believe in cooperative economics, wealth building. They've started businesses together. They're doing great things. You can find out more about each of them by visiting theBlackWealthBootCamp.com or theblackbusinessschool.com. I was going through some questions, and I just kind of felt compelled to take a second. And I have a few minutes before I, got to go to bed. I'm getting ready to head out for the All Black National Convention coming up pretty soon in Atlanta, the weekend of September 16th. And I got this interesting question from a sister. I'm not going to say her name, and I'm not going to tell too much of her story because I'm not seeking to embarrass her, but I felt like it was an important topic to kind of jump into because it's more of a precautionary tale with regard to how we should think about education, how we should think about student loans, how we should think about just being in debt in general, and how debt is kind of really hammering so many people. So the sister basically was telling me that she was in medical school and she went deep into debt to go to medical school. I think she borrowed $465,000. $465,000 to go to medical school. And she says that she got put out of her program, and I felt real bad for the sister. And she asked me what to do, and I didn't know what to say. I mean, I just kind of felt like, maybe you can build a time machine and go back in time and not take out all that debt, because that's very expensive. That's crazy. That's a lot of debt. Even people who make doctor salaries would have trouble repaying that much debt. $500,000 in debt, that's only something you should have if you have an expensive house or a business that makes you a lot of money. It should not be the kind of debt that you have to go to school. A lot of people don't know that this generation of millennials under the age of 35, they're the first generation in American history that is expected to die in debt. They're never gonna be in the black. And so I would encourage anybody, if you're sending your kids to college, you're going back to school yourself or whatever, to just kind of rethink education in terms of how much you should be willing to pay to get educated. I'm a big believer in investing in education. Like at the Black Business School, we charge for our classes, but it's not very much. We charge a fair price. We charge what we need in order to pay our staff. And if you scale it and you got 30,000 students, then it allows us to pay Black people and to keep Black people employed, provide information, eventually buy real estate and all these other things we're trying to do for our school. But when universities are charging you, a woman told me the other day that she said her son's going to a private university and tuition, room, board, and books is $82,000 a year. $82,000 a year. There ain't no degree on earth you can get that makes it worth spending $82,000 a year to go to school. There just isn't. I'm sorry. Maybe if you are a neurosurgeon, then that might work. But there's a lot of ifs that go into play with that. That's a gamble, because I know a lot of smart people who want to be neurosurgeons who can't get into neurosurgery programs because they only allow so many people to get into those programs. So even becoming a neurosurgeon doesn't, think about that, $82,000 to go to school. So that would mean if he borrowed that money, he would leave college with $320,000 in debt. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely insane. Now, somebody was asking about Atlanta and the All Black National Convention. Yeah, you can buy tickets to the All Black National Convention by visiting allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. Also, with the question I was answering is part of the coaching program that we have that a lot of people seem to like, where you can ask me questions and I answer your financial questions for you and get back to you with a video. That's at AskDrBoyce.com. That's AskDrBoyce.com. Let's see here. Akil is asking, what do you have a degree in? Nuclear engineering? No. My degree is in finance, which was pretty tough. I don't know if it's as tough as nuclear engineering, but it was very, very difficult. I didn't finish school till I was 31. And I wasn't because I was lazy. I was studying 8-9 hours a day. It was just hard as hell because you're sitting in classes and you're sitting next to somebody who tells you that they got the highest math score in all of China or some ridiculous stuff like that. So those are the kinds of people you're competing with. But it made me intellectually sharper and stronger, so I don't regret it in that regard. It's just it took a lot of time, and I kind of wish I had instead spent that time just really learning to be a good entrepreneur, because I was just in school to try to make money. That's it. I was just trying to make money. Eventually, at some point, I wanted to, because I didn't want to be broke anymore. I didn't have much money growing up, so I wanted to have some money as an adult. So there are a lot of easier ways to get money besides either doing the hard things, either playing a sport or getting a whole bunch of advanced degrees and hoping a white man will give you a high-paying job. Those high-paying jobs are hard to get. It's very, very difficult to play professional sports. It's not very difficult to learn to be a good entrepreneur and sell a good product and make a good profit. And so when this woman was asking me what's the best way to get out of this debt, I said, I don't even think being a doctor will get you out of this debt. I think being an entrepreneur is the only thing I've ever seen where you can make enough money to pay that back. I know a lot of entrepreneurs who started small businesses who made $500,000 in a year. And that's, I would say it was easy, but they just really spent a lot of time learning how to do what they were doing very well. And the thing about it is that, and this is why I'm so big on teaching entrepreneurship to our kids, is that it takes about 157,680 hours to raise a child from the age 0 to the age of 18. And so I would argue that you'd be better off spending at least 1,000 of those hours teaching your child how to become an entrepreneur. Put them in a program. We have a program. It's at blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. It doesn't cost that much. If you go to blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com, I'll get your child started on the path toward wealth building. The kids who come through our programs are not normal kids. We have 2 programs for kids. One is at blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com, which is automated self-study. You can take whatever pace you want. That has a lower price point. But then we have another program at blackfinancialleadership.com, which is also for children, and we meet them every Saturday for 5 weeks, and we go through step-by-step details. We have a lot of fun. The kids love it. In fact, a mother just sent me a note saying that her daughter was actually enjoying school for the first time in our class, because she said her daughter hated public school. She was being mistreated. Her mother took her out of school. She homeschools her, and she put her in our program. And basically, she said that it's the first time her daughter's ever had a black teacher, and she loves that. Also, we were having fun. We were playing some Michael Jackson and just being silly with the kids and stuff like that, but also teaching finance. So now the kids associate business ownership and wealth building with fun. They associate it with something that is enjoyable. So anyway, long story short, if you go to blackfinancialleadership.com, you can apply. We're not accepting that many kids, but we do have another cohort that will be coming up pretty soon. So you can go to blackfinancialleadership.com to find out more, and also the automated programs at blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. So anyway, I just want to tell you guys about the program, but also bring up the whole student loan thing, because it kind of blew my mind. I was just sitting there thinking, like, how would I deal with having that much debt? And you're really, think about it. When you have that much debt, by the way, if you're on social media or something, take 1 second and share this to your Facebook page or your YouTube, or hit the subscribe button. Please do that for me so that we can remain connected and people in your network can chime in on the conversation. Because we're going to address some of this at the All Black National Convention. But, when you have that much debt, you need to have an asset for that much debt. I mean, you're basically repaying an illusion. Seriously. I mean, you have $465,000 in debt, and you don't have a mortgage. That's not for a house. That's not for a business. That's just for some stuff that somebody put in your brain that may not even have any significant economic value. Some of these things are things you could have learned on the internet for a few $100. There are professors I know that teach on Udemy.com who teach better than the professors I worked with at Syracuse, where Syracuse's tuition I think is over $50,000 a year, but the professors I've seen online are better than the ones that I was teaching with at Syracuse because they have experience in their field. Josh says you get a piece of paper for that money. That's absolutely true. That's what it is a piece of paper that hopefully will give you entry into an economic system that's run by white males. And I say hopefully because for many black people, you don't get entry into that economic system. You don't get the opportunity to experience the economic benefits that you thought you were going to get. So, you have to sort of rethink what all that means. I'm not saying people shouldn't go to college. I'm just saying I don't believe you should go more than $20,000 in debt, maybe $25,000 in debt to get a college degree. And it should be in a degree that makes it easy for you to pay your bills. Ashley is saying entrepreneurship equals major. I agree. Major key. Okay, I think she's saying that entrepreneurship is the major key. I agree. I think that if you send your child to college, before you send them to college, put them in a program for entrepreneurship so that while they're in college, they can start a business. Don't send them to college and say, go to school 4 years and spend 4 years, going to step shows and parties and chilling. And then you get out and the white man's going to take good care of you. Next thing you know, your son be 25 years old, sitting in your house in his drawers, smoking weed, playing Xbox every day, eating up your food, living it at your crib because he can't take care of himself because he thought that just by getting a piece of paper, he was going to be in good shape. I know a lot of young people who went to college, got that piece of paper, they ain't doing so good. A lot of them ain't doing so good. And so, this economic game is one where there are keys. There are ways to figure it out. But the question is, are we more interested in learning the keys to understand the economic system? Are we as interested in that as we are to learning the plot of love and hip hop? Are we as interested in learning how to overcome our oppression economically and develop sustainable systems? Are we as interested in that as we are in, gossip that occurs, on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook? I see a whole lot of people, a whole lot of young people and older people too, caught up in bullshit, caught up in nonsense, distracted, paying attention to stuff that doesn't even matter. And while that's all happening, you're being pushed into what ultimately will become economic servitude and various forms of victimhood. You unfortunately, by allowing yourself to be distracted and to be addicted to nonsense, you're kind of putting yourself in a position where you're ruining your own life and then complaining about how your life is ruined later on and saying that that's all due to oppression. And I think oppression is very real, which is why we have to be that much more diligent and that much sharper. But I will tell you this, even if Donald Trump was in the White House, for example, if we had President Trump tomorrow, if black people decided to determine our own destiny, we're going to be fine. Those black people who choose to build, who choose to understand the economic system, who choose to invest in our children and in ourselves, who choose to be educated, those people are going to be fine. Those people are going to be just fine. It's going to be those who were paying attention to love and hip hop and nonsense that are going to really be struggling. So that's just the honest to God truth. All right, so Terry says, my next degree will be a JD MBA and it will cost me $0. That's what's up. Very proud of you, Terry. I love it. Looks like Terry. I think Terry's a sister because I see lips and they look like red lips. So if you're a man that's got red lipstick on, then I'm not saying men can't wear red lipstick. You'll just never see me wearing red lipstick. But anyway, congratulations, Terry. I wish you the very best. And make sure you learn entrepreneurship at the same time. Spend as much time learning how to start and run a business as you spend, learning whatever it is you learn in school. I mean, that's a fundamental fact. I mean, it's the ability to create your own job, create your own income, create your own pay raises whenever you want to, all of that. So I see Miss Orange says, yes, I'm a black MBA, but it hasn't made a difference for me as an employee. I was disappointed being told that now I'm overqualified, so I'm in the process of trying to build a profitable business. Power to the people, sister. That's black power right there. That's what you do. Your resources are all around you. Basically, if a person sort of really studies entrepreneurship and gears their mind to thinking as an entrepreneur, and then also they collaborate and network with other people who are like-minded, you cannot have 5 intelligent, hardworking black people in a room together and say that there is no wealth in that room. I don't care if none of them have $1 in their pocket. There's over $1 million in assets right there in that room. You're not broke. And the assets come from your human capital. the fact that you all have this skill, this ability to seek out opportunities and start businesses, and a desire to follow through on these ideas, and a commitment to cooperative economics, that's tremendous wealth. So if you want to get started on your new life, always remember, this is what I teach students in the Black Wealth Bootcamp. There's always strength in numbers. There's always strength in numbers. Get with your people and just say, okay, let's figure this out. How are we going to go get this money? How are we going to make this work? How are we going to come up with ideas to basically look for opportunities and create profitable products? How do we share the risk? How do we share the investment so that we can all get this done? When you do that, when you realize that there's strength in numbers, then that's when you can do amazing things. And I'm actually learning this more and more. I've actually formed partnerships with several people, mostly other black men and women who think like myself. I don't really partner with people who don't get what we're doing. And what I found is that when I bring together, my hundreds of thousands of supporters or our 2 or 3 million that we have on different Facebook pages, and I combine that with other people's resources, and they've got 500,000, and somebody, Tariq, has his people, and so has their people, that we really become a force where we're able to really establish our own economy. It's internally generated and supported. It's not something where we're all out here by ourselves trying to do it on our own. The only other quote unquote, I wouldn't say significant, the only other person with a decent sized platform that I can't partner with for whatever reason is Umar Johnson. But outside of that, I've talked to everybody, and I want to work with everyone. And even if we disagree, because at the end of the day, we're still working for the same things. Even when we disagree, even if we don't like each other, we're still kind of working in the same direction for the same people. So I think it's very important to understand the power in building those networks. So anyway, we're going to hit on a lot of that at the All Black National Convention. I hope you'll come down to Atlanta. It's at allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. If you're interested in the wealth building program for kids, you may want to start with blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. If you're interested in taking our class on wealth building, etc., the Black Wealth Bootcamp, we've got another cohort November 5th, so you can learn more at theblackwealthbootcamp.com. Don't forget the THE. That's theblackwealthbootcamp.com. And then finally, if you want a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, visit drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. All right. So let's see. Okay. So the mother of Kendrick Johnson would love to participate in your convention. Her name is Jackie Kendrick Johnson. Okay, well, if Miss Johnson would like to participate, then she's certainly welcome. Have her send. Please have somebody send an email to my email address. It's boyce@boycewatkins.com. That's boyce@boycewatkins.com. Now, what I will tell you about my email is I don't respond to my email because it's just too many, and I've got too much work to do. I'm not really in this to try to be a celebrity. I'm in this to get work done. So I'm literally every day working on stuff, and so I don't check my own email. But what happens is an autoresponder comes out, and because we're trying to structure to serve the community, what we do is we list all the different services we offer, all the different ways you can partner with us, all the different classes you can take, all the things that we can do for you. And in that group, in those emails, you'll see an email for Rashida. If you email Rashida at theblackbusinessschool.com, Rashida will connect to me and will put Miss Johnson into the conference. She'll do the outreach and get that done. Ashley's asking, when is the conference? The conference is going to occur September 15th, 16th, and 17th in Atlanta. You can go to allblacknationalconvention.com. We got a whole lot of great people coming through. We got Judge Olu Stevens, Zaza Ali, David Banner, Dr. Tyrus Selden, Dr. Roosevelt Mitchell III, Yurima Karama, Madam President, Jay Morrison, Mr. Real Estate is going to be there. A whole lot of other people I'm not naming. If I forget them, I apologize if you happen to be one of the people when you're watching. Let's see here. I know that Tiara KJ Williams, who runs therealnetwork.com, is going to actually come out there, and I think she's interesting and important because she's a big player in Hollywood. She's actually doing great work in Hollywood, and I think that she'd be a great participant. Let's see here. Trinity's asking, I want to start my online publishing company. Any ideas? Well, right now I got to go, Trinity. I can't really answer a question like that. But if you join our program at AskDrBoyce.com, I will answer as many questions as you ask. And what I do is students submit their questions, and then I answer the questions on video. So you don't just get the answer to your questions specifically. You get the answers to hundreds of other questions that people have already asked me. So it's a great resource for anybody that really has a lot of deep financial questions. It doesn't cost that much. You can write down the URL. It's at askdrboyce.com. That's askdrboyce.com. So anyway, I'm about to get out of here, guys. I got to go to bed. I got to catch a flight in the morning. I'm going to the Tom Joyner Black Family Reunion this weekend. So if you're in Orlando and you happen to be popping through, please stop by and say hello. After that, I'm going out to Oakland and Sacramento, and then back to Atlanta, and then Dr. Claude Anderson and I are doing something in DC at the end of October, and then I've got some other events that I don't remember them all. So just stay tuned, stay connected, sign up for something, subscribe to something, so that you'll get these updates in terms of when I'll be in different places. And if you want to listen to me in your car, I forgot to mention this to you too, you can actually go to BoyceWatkinsPodcast.com. So if you go to BoyceWatkinsPodcast.com, you will be able to listen to me on audio instead of just doing video, and that might make it easy if you gotta put me in your headphones while you're at the plantation or whatever the case may be. And Ashley was asking, when am I coming to DC? Dr. Claude Anderson and I are going to be in DC between October 28th and 30th. I don't know when tickets are going to be on sale, but that's coming up. Also, if you go to Dr. Boyce Dallas, I just remember I'll be in Dallas October 8th. So go to drboycedallas.com and you can buy a ticket for that. So as you can see, I'm trying to stay active, but that's not really my big play. The events and stuff, that's nice, that's fun, that's cool. Teaching the online classes, that's great too. But really my big play is I want us to become major players in terms of how entertainment and education occur in the black community and how media occurs in the black community. So, access to black-owned media channels is very important to me. Also, setting up educational systems where we can educate our own children is very important. Also, I want us to make our own movies and distribute our own films. And I have some thoughts on how to develop a national chain of black-owned movie theaters. They won't cost that much money. And given that I'm working with people like Jay Morrison on how to raise large amounts of capital, we are going to pull this off. We're going to make a major announcement very soon. I'm hoping we can make the announcement at the convention. But that's one of the things we want to do, because if we can if we can go to the community with an investment proposal and give everybody a piece of equity and raise, say, $5 million, $10 million, then there are some amazing things that we can do. Fred says, what is your radio station? Well, I don't have a radio station, but I have a podcast. We got a lot of subscribers on that. You can go to BoyceWatkinsPodcast.com. That's BoyceWatkinsPodcast.com. Also, if you want to follow me via text message, you can text the word Boyce to 31996. Text the word Boyce to 31996. It's really funny. You know what? I think I'm going to start doing this. When I start talking, I'm going to next time tell you to have a pad and a pen so you can write down the stuff, because I like to share information. I want you to know about the different programs we have in case you want to join in, because what I really just want to do is I just want to be your friend, your mentor, your teacher. I want to be a person that can sort of be with you as you're going through your journey and do everything I can to help you. Now sometimes I can't talk to everybody because it's a lot of people. It's working out really well so far. I mean, there's not a city I go to now where I don't see people that stop by and say hello, and I really love that. But I'm going to do my absolute best. So and I'm working with other people that we'll bring in to kind of help you along in that journey as well. So I'm done. I'm about to get out of here. So Rose is asking, am I coming to the UK? I forgot about that. Yes, we're coming to London in November. I'm working with a nice lady named Iola who's helping us go to London. We're going to do a tour. We're going to stop at several venues while we're in London. I'll probably be in London for a couple of weeks and bring my daughter over there with me and stuff like that. We got a lot of great black people in London, man. I'm telling you, I was really impressed. Also, Tim is asking, or he's saying that we're a group of black filmmakers. Well, let's connect. Send me an email. My email address is boyce@boycewatkins.com. That's boyce@boycewatkins.com. Fred says, do you ever come to Little Rock? Not if I can help it. I ain't heard good things about Little Rock, except banging in Little Rock. That was just not a cool documentary. That wasn't a good look for y'all city, man. But anyway, I'm just being silly. Little Rock is a hard city for us to go to because of the cost. When we set up events in different cities, it costs us maybe like $4,000 to $6,000 in order to do that city. So we have to make sure there's a crowd there that will support. And so if it's a small town, some people may not come out. Now, if I was Beyonce or something, I could probably go to any city and make money. But because I'm not a household name per se, nor do I want to be. We have to have a critical mass of people that support a city. So if you want us to come to your city, here's what you can do that would get us there. I would go to Alaska if you did this. If you get 100 to 150 people to buy a ticket, in advance, like maybe a $30 ticket, then we would be good. We'd be on our way. I'd make it work. We'd figure it out. And so if you got a church or an organization and you can somehow come up with the money for, like, say, 150 tickets, then talk to my people. Send an email to boyce@boycewatkins.com, and I'll come out there and we can make it happen. It just requires everybody to put some skin in the game. So let's say you're in Tulsa, like Maurice, and you want me to come to Tulsa. You could say, you could go to your church and say, hey, Pastor, I got a link to Dr. Boyce Watkins. He says that if we can sell this many tickets, then we'll come to the city. And so maybe he only sells 50 tickets, and then the church puts up the remainder. It's not that expensive, but what it does is it allows us to pay for the cost of the travel, the hotels, the staffing, and also we sell our merchandise, which allows us to make enough of a profit that we can go back and pay our people, and also where we can continue the tour, we can continue to go to other cities. Everything we're doing costs money, so I want to make it real clear. If you're looking for somebody who is a so-called leader, like I guess people see me that way, if you're looking for me to be a leader who never has to ask for money, then I'm not the person that you want to talk to, because we have to ask for money so we can remain independent. I will be always talking about money, not just so we can learn money, but also saying, hey, I need you guys to help with this. We need support. We can't, everything can't be free. See, a lot of people are built on a charity model when it comes to black people. A lot of people believe that black people are either too ignorant or too broke to pay for their own education. And I resent that vehemently, because if number one, it's not true. We spend money. We give all kinds of money to all kinds of stuff that don't even make a difference in our lives. But then number two, we have to be willing to make the investment to invest in our own children, to educate our own children, educate ourselves. So I think that, we have to kind of get away from a poverty charity model for black people and go toward a model that says we are a community that can sustain ourselves. And also, it is so interesting because you have people that really think that every black man with a business must be some kind of crook. That if I say, oh, I got this class that's $150 to $200 or whatever, that somehow you're trying to milk the cow, or you're trying to, exploit black people. And it irritates me, because I'm like, wait a minute, you obviously don't follow me, because you don't see how much I'm trying to do for the community. And then number two, I just tell people when they say that, I say, okay, I'll make a deal with you. We don't want that much money. We don't need that much. We got to feed black. We got black families that work for us. They got children, and we want to make sure their children are not homeless. Maybe you'd be happy if they were homeless. I don't know. But here's the deal I make with you. I want you to calculate all the money you gave the white man this week, between going to Walmart, Kmart, going to the movies, going out and buying Jordans, whatever it is you bought, and I want you to give us 1/10 of the money that you gave the white man. You invest in us. You invest 1/10 of the money that you gave the white man this week. We'll call it even. And that ends the conversation right there, because we spend so much money on all kinds of stuff that has no benefit to our community. So I'll be damned if I'm going to tell you that our time is not free, and you're going to act, all crazy and offended that we don't treat you like you are a welfare recipient. Because when you do that, here's how those models work. If I treat you like you can't afford to take care of yourself, like you're an economic child, then ultimately I have to get the money from somewhere. So I'm going to end up going and talking to some corporation or talking to white folks and saying, I'm a poor little dumb nigga, and us dumb niggas, we is just too broken, just too stupid to pay for our own education, massa. So because black people just can't do it for themselves, I need you to write me a check so that I can go out here and educate these dumb ass niggas. That's really kind of what you're telling me to do, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Now, again, if we had no money and we weren't able to spend money on entertainment and popping bottles and buying clothes and buying cars and buying whatever else, if that wasn't the case, then absolutely, then we would have nothing. But I know last time I checked, we had 1.1 trillion in spending power, and about $1 trillion of those dollars go to other people. So I didn't mean to go on that tangent, but it just kind of, I think about that and it infuriates me. And we got to get away from this idea that says that a business owner who charges a fair price for a product is some kind of a crook. That's not true. When you have friends that start businesses, don't go ask for free stuff. Don't act like you can't afford to do it on your own. Treat them with the same dignity and respect you treat that person, that white person you buy a product from. You're not up here begging him for anything because you know he's not going to listen. You don't do that to your own people. So that's it. Because sometimes that's what we do. Sometimes the people that are closest to us are the ones that we hurt the most, the ones we exploit the most. We don't mean to do it, but we kind of feel like, well, this is my mama, or this is my brother, this is my sister. So if I can get away with taking something from them that I couldn't get away with taking from somebody else, because maybe I feel like I need it at that particular time. I don't know what it is, but at the end of the day, it just can't work. It's not a sustainable, viable economic model, and we have to grow outside of that, right? So there you go. I'm out of here, guys. Don't forget, if you want to come to the convention, please come out, allblacknationalconvention.com. I'm hoping the house is packed. I'm hoping that we have, just people flooded out the door. It's going to be real. It's going to be authentic. I deliberately planned it to be the same weekend as the Congressional Black Caucus Convention. Why? Well, because I don't want those Negroes trying to come and get on our stage. See, those Negroes are already trying, the bought and paid for Negroes are already trying to go to D.C. They're trying to sit next to the movers and shakers who can integrate them into white America and assimilate and all this other stuff. And that's cool. That's fine. Cool. Go do that. John Lewis or whoever else it is. Go out there, be in D.C. That's where you need to be, because the real black folks, the black people who really want to do something, the black people who are tired of apologizing for being black, who are tired of living a lie, who are tired of committing to nonsense, are going to be at that convention talking about real issues that really affect our community. I invited a diverse group of people for the specific goal of making sure that all ideas are laid on the table. So do you want to know yes, I did invite a Trump supporter. There's a strong black woman I met in LA who loves Donald Trump. She loves black people too. I felt it in her voice. I heard it in her spirit. I said, sister, come on. You are welcome to come to the convention. Not because you support Trump. You need to defend your point of view. Black people ain't going to like you when you walk up in there with that Trump shirt on, but I want to hear what you have to say. We have Hillary supporters. We have people who ain't voting for Trump or Hillary. We have Malik Zulu Shabazz from who was associated with the New Black Panther Party, as well as the Black Lawyers for Justice. We have people like David Banner and Killer Mike, who represent the hip hop community. Yurima Karama and Madam President do too. We have scholars like Dr. Roosevelt Mitchell III, Dr. Tyra Selden, Judge Olu Stevens. We got all different kinds of perspectives from all different kinds of people that are going to basically lay all the information on the table and incentivize you, help you find the truth. That's it. We're just looking for truth. We're looking for fairness. Sometimes you see stuff in the world that everybody accepts to be true, and it seems to, and you think you somehow convince yourself that it makes sense because you don't see anybody screaming about how stupid it is. You don't see anybody really just jumping out there saying this is just dumb. But there are a lot of things we do as a country right now that are just dumb. There are things we do as a community right now that are just dumb, and everybody goes along with it because they think that everybody else is doing it, or if they speak up against it, then everybody's going to chastise them or whatever. No, I'm sorry. A lot of this stuff is just dumb. So we're trying to get out of the dumb stuff. We're trying to walk out of the darkness into the light, walk out of thoughtlessness, walk into thoughtfulness, walk out of chaos and walk into order and build something that is strong, that is viable, that is built on pride. And I'll be damned if you're going to tell me that the black community cannot be a strong, viable, independent entity on its own, economically, politically, spiritually, and psychologically. I reject that vehemently. So while I have told, I get outreach from a representative from Jill Stein, the third party candidate. I guess she's heard some of the things I've been saying. They reached out. I told them, I said, Jill would, if Jill wants to come, or wants to send her VP who's black, they can come. I don't know if they're going to send their people or not, but I said I wouldn't invite Hillary's people. I wouldn't invite Trump's people. But if you want to come in and you want to speak your ideas and share them, you can certainly come too. So long story short, that's kind of what the goal is. Do I know exactly what I'm doing all the time? No, the answer is no. I don't always know all the answers. I don't always know exactly the right way to do everything that we're doing. Half the damn time, excuse my French, we sometimes I look at something, they'll say, well, you sure you want to do this, Boyce? Can we even afford? Do we have the money to pull this off? I'm like, no, we might not have the money, but we got the faith and we have the intellect. And one thing I have learned throughout history, and this is important for you to know about your own life, is that most of the time when people have done really important things throughout history, they usually started off without having everything that they needed. They started off without knowing everything they needed to know. And sometimes they actually failed. Sometimes they tried to do something special and it just didn't work out. But the times where it did work out, they rarely move forward when everything was in place, when everything was ready. So we're kind of moving forward without everything that we need. We just said, let's get a venue, let's invite the world, let's see what happens, and let's do our absolute best. And that's the purest intention I can give you, and that's what we're seeking to do. So anyway, let's see here. Ernestine says, write a bestseller like President Obama did and pay off your loans. Nah, I mean, I've actually had people tell me I should try to do a movie about my life or something. I don't know, maybe one day it might be fun, but I got to make sure I gotta get a more interesting life. Maybe because people always have to have these really interesting like romances and stuff to make the story interesting. My romances aren't interesting. I just have got dumped a couple of times, and so that ain't fun to talk about. But anyway, I'm just playing, guys. I'm about to get out of here. All right, I'm going to bed, so I love you, and don't forget allblacknationalconvention.com, blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. You can go check both of those out. And until we meet again, stay strong, be blessed, be educated. I am gone. Peace.